We're starting our story with a simple puzzle from way, way back in the past. So, I want you to meet our guy, a farmer from thousands of years ago. He works hard, dawn till dusk, but he's just stuck. And this simple question, why can't he seem to get ahead? Well, the answer is the key to understanding, everything about our economy today.
And this brings us to the first major problem, this invisible barrier that kept early economies totally flat. Let's call it the wealth glass ceiling.
Okay, so let's take a look at the books for our farmer. He's got some wheat, some oil, a little bit of cloth. You add it all up, and his total net worth is about 300 silver shekels. Not bad, right? A decent place to start.
So he spends the next 3 months wheeling and dealing. He trades his wheat for some oil, flips that oil for some nice cloth. He's hustling. But after all that work, when he counts up his coins again, he's actually down to 290. He's somehow gotten a little bit poorer.
So here's the real question. Let's say he's not just a good trader. Let's say he's a genius. For the next 3 months, he makes every perfect move. How much richer can he actually get? What's the absolute best-case scenario for him?
And here's the crazy part. He can't really grow the total pot of wealth at all. See, the amount of stuff in the whole village is fixed. The only way for him to get richer is to make someone else poorer. He's just fighting for a bigger slice of a pie that never, ever gets any bigger.
And that is the core problem. That's the glass ceiling. It's this hard limit on growth, not just for our farmer, but for his entire village. They can trade back and forth all day long, but they can't actually create any more real value.
But wait, the problem actually goes even deeper than just trading. It's baked into the very cycle of making things, a cycle that we call the subsistence trap.
Economists have a name for this whole situation, a subsistence economy. The best way to think about it is like you're running on a treadmill. You're putting in all this energy, sweating, working hard, just to stay in the exact same spot. Everything you make gets used up just to survive, leaving you with absolutely nothing to invest for a better future.
Now this slide here just lays out the trap perfectly. Just look at this loop. The farmer grows 100 measures of wheat. Okay, his family's got to eat, so they consume half. He takes the other half and plants it for the next season. And the next harvest brings in, you guessed it, 100 measures. He ends up exactly where he began. No growth, zilch, nada.
So, how in the world do you break a cycle like that? Well, the answer was a totally revolutionary idea that popped up in ancient places like Mesopotamia. It was all about figuring out a way to borrow from the future to make the present better.
The big breakthrough was credit. You see, ancient temples were these super trusted centers in the community, and they started acting like the world's very first banks. They'd store extra grain from really good years, and then start lending it out to farmers who needed a boost.
Okay, this slide right here, this is the aha moment for our whole story. On the left, you've got the old way, stuck in that loop, zero growth. But look at the right. After our farmer gets a loan for 100 measures of wheat, the whole game changes. He can now afford to hire some help, farm a bigger plot of land, and his harvest, it jumps from 100 all the way to 250 measures. For the first time ever, he has a real surplus.
And here is where the magic happens. He pays back the loan plus a little extra for interest. But even after he's paid his debt, he's left with 120 measures of wheat. That's a 20% profit in one season. He didn't just move wealth around, he actually created new wealth. The glass ceiling? Smashed.
And that is the true, incredible power of credit. It's like a time machine for money. It gives you the ability to pull your future earnings into the present. That grain he was going to grow next year, the loan let him use the value of it today to invest, which in turn made that future even bigger and more profitable.
But this idea didn't just stop with sacks of grain. The next step in the evolution was even wilder. It led to a system that wasn't based on physical stuff at all, but on something much more abstract, plain old trust.
So this brought up a new problem. Imagine a trader shows up in the village selling salt. He wants to trade it for wheat, but the harvest is still a week or two away. The temple doesn't have any physical grain on hand to lend out. So what happens? Does the whole deal just fall apart?
No, the solution was this amazing piece of ancient tech, a clay tablet. The temple, being the most trusted institution in town, would just write out a tablet that basically said, "We owe whoever holds this 300 measures of wheat." It was simply a promise to pay. And here's the kicker. Because absolutely everyone in the village trusted the temple to be good for it, that little clay tablet became as good as money. It was basically the world's first IOU, a physical piece of debt that you could actually trade with. This promise, it became a new kind of currency.
Now, this ancient invention, born from grain and trust, isn't just some dusty old history lesson. It is the absolute fundamental engine that powers our entire modern economy. It drives all the growth we see around us.
So let's just step back and think about what this simple idea really unlocked for humanity. Credit let us finally break free from that subsistence trap. It made huge, complex, long-distance trade possible, and it created this incredible ripple effect of economic activity, where a single promise could spark growth for the whole community. You know, that clay tablet is the direct ancestor of modern bonds, of dollar bills, and even of the digital money that's in your bank account right now.
And really, that's what this all comes down to. From clay tablets to the trillions of dollars flashing across our screens every single second, our entire global economy is still built on that exact same ancient idea, a giant network of promises. It's all about trust. So the question we have to ask ourselves is, in a world that feels more and more uncertain, how strong is that foundation of trust that we're building our future on?